Okay, it doesn't look like we have anyone else in the waiting room, so we'll go ahead and get started because I know you have a busy night of studying and other activities that you have going on, so we will go ahead and get started. For those of you who don't know me, I am Dr. McMinn, Vice President of Academic Affairs and Dean of the College. And Bethany, if you will say hello so that your face pops up for everyone.
Hello.
Okay, so that is Bethany Lockey. She is the academic events coordinator. So she is my assistant for commencement and other events on campus of an academic nature. And so she is the one who has been sending you emails and answering questions and anything that may come across your mind. So I wanted you to see Bethany so that you knew who she was, that there actually is a face behind all of those emails that you were getting. And also so you know who to talk to should you have questions about baccalaureate commencement or other opportunities. Okay, just a reminder, again, we are recording this session in case there are graduates who aren't able to attend. So if you want to leave your cameras off, that is perfectly fine. You do not need to turn it on for this meeting. But we are recording this and we will post it online and we will send all graduates a link to it. So if there's something you need to refresh your memory on, if you forget something, you'll be able to see it. See the video recording at least later on. But if you have questions, you can always email Bethany, you can email me, and we will get you an answer as quickly as we can. Okay. All right, so earlier today, Bethany sent all graduates a list or a file called 2021 commencement or graduation day summary sheet. And basically it's just a schedule of events that are happening around your baccalaureate and commencement. If you can believe it, commencement is 1 month from today. So 1 month, you're going to be walking across Senior Terrace to get that diploma cover and to celebrate with your family, faculty, President Richardson, myself, and we're looking forward to celebrating with you. So the night before on Friday, you will have the opportunity to watch the baccalaureate service. That is a religious-oriented service. To celebrate your good work over the last 4 years or 2 years for those of you in graduate school, and also to provide that blessing and commencement as you move forward into your next part of your journey. So that will be 6:30 p.m. on Friday evening, and that sheet that Bethany sent to you, as well as the commencement website, that will have the link for the baccalaureate service, and you can watch that from your residence hall or from your home or wherever you wish. And I would encourage you to share that with your family and your friends if you want them to participate in that service. Reverend Moore, Chaplain Moore will be providing leadership of that service, and it's always a very nice event. But that will be the kickoff for the next day, which will be commencement. And there will be, as I have emailed to you, there will be 2 ceremonies, and those ceremonies are divided roughly equally. So you'll be split just about perfectly in half at this point, in one of 2 ceremonies. Those ceremonies are, one begins at 9 o'clock and will go for about 90 minutes. And the second one, after about an hour break to let people from the first ceremony get in or get out and the new people to come in, that ceremony will begin at 11:30 and run until 1 p.m. You'll be able to find your seat 30 minutes before your ceremony begins, and I will encourage you to be in your seat within 15 minutes of the start time so that we can keep everything moving along. So in the emails that we have sent you, as well as the information sheet that Bethany sent you today, that will tell you which ceremony you will be in. So those are organized by schools. And if you're not sure which school you're in, you can always email Bethany or me, and we will get that information to you. In addition, you will receive tickets for your seat because we're going to assign you alphabetically to your seat so that we can make name calling and you walking across Senior Terrace as efficient as possible. Your ticket will list what seat you're in. So that will help you also to know which ceremony, which seat, where you need to be and at what time. So please pay attention to that ticket and make sure you are where you need to be in a timely manner, because we are going to start sharply at 9 o'clock and then at 11:30 for that second ceremony. I will say that a lot of this, all of your commencement activities are organized around and to comply with CDC and Commonwealth requirements. So we really wanted you to have that experience of being able to cross Senior Terrace because that is so important to Westminster tradition. We wanted you to be able to get your diploma cover from President Richardson. We wanted you to be able to hear your name called. And so we're going to try to honor as many of those traditions as we possibly can. We can't do it all together, unfortunately, because of occupancy limitations imposed by the Commonwealth. So that's why we're splitting you into half. And for those of you who are double majors, we're going to assign you to the ceremony that aligns with your first major. And again, I wish I could do that differently. And we were all almost 300 of us together, but that's just not going to be the way that we were able to do it safely and in compliance with the Commonwealth. So I appreciate your patience. I appreciate your compliance with that. You guys are so good at compliance at this point. You're like, yeah, the Commonwealth said so. We get it. So I appreciate you doing that one more time with that Titan spirit. So there won't be a formal processional as we normally do. So there will not be a marching into the South Lawn or onto Senior Terrace like we have done in years past. Again, you will have a seat assignment and you have 30 minutes before your ceremony begins to find your seat. You'll be ordered alphabetically, and in ceremony 2, undergraduates, those eligible for who have earned the baccalaureate degree, will be seated in front, and the graduate students behind them. But in ceremony 1, you'll just be ordered alphabetically by the undergraduate degree. So pretty straightforward. When you get to the South Lawn, and for those of you who don't know what I mean by South Lawn, that's where the Adirondack chairs are in front of Old Main. So the big quad, that's where you'll be sitting. You'll be facing Old Main, but you'll be in the front of all the rows of chairs. And then your guest will be behind and beside of you on the wings. So you'll be facing Old Main, and then as we call your name, you'll come up toward the bell tower, and then you'll cross Senior Terrace in front of the faculty on your way over to get your diploma cover from President Richardson, get your picture made a couple of times, and then you'll return to your seat, and we will confer the degrees and everything else. So it's going to be pretty easy. And I don't even think because we're not going to do a processional, we're not going to do a practice like we normally would. I'm going to give you some instructions that day because I know if I tell you today what we're going to do, you're going to forget. And that's okay. I'm going to walk you through it. It's going to be really easy. So we'll confer your degrees. We'll call your name. You'll come up and get your diploma cover, get your picture taken, and then go back to your seat. And then once everyone has been recognized, President Richardson will make her fancy speech, tell you to move your tassels over, and then we're going to celebrate all of your good successes. Okay. So I keep mentioning diploma cover. So when you come across Senior Terrace, you'll get your diploma cover from President Richardson. I don't think she's going to shake hands just because we are still in a COVID environment. So you might get a fist bump. You'll definitely get a big smile and congratulations. She'll be sending you a virtual hug in her head because you know President Richardson. She loves her students. And then later in June, you will receive a copy of your diploma in the mail, and we'll send that to your address on record. So please make sure that your home address is correct so that we know where to send your diploma to. So when you leave campus, you'll have your diploma cover. We will send you the diploma after all your grades have been processed, any holds have been cleared, and you'll get that sometime in June, again, to your home address on record. I'll also say that I mentioned that you'll be getting your picture made. We will have a professional photographer who, actually a team of photographers who are going to be taking 2 pictures. One, as you get your diploma cover from President Richardson, you'll both turn and we'll smile or do whatever you need to, however you'd like to have your picture made. And then you'll have that picture. You'll cross over to the other side of Senior Terrace in front of the president's office. And then that will be the only time that you're going to be allowed to remove your mask, your face covering, so that you can have a graduation picture without your mask on. The photographer will be distanced from you so he can take a picture of you without your mask on. And then before you return or leave Senior Terrace, you're going to put your mask back on and go to your seat. So again, just stressing good COVID hygiene, making sure that you stay masked the entire time other than taking that picture. So you'll get 2 pictures that day, or have 2 pictures made, one of you receiving your diploma cover from President Richardson, and then one of you on the side of Senior Terrace in front of her office with Old Main as the backdrop without your mask on. And as a gift from the college to recognize the extraordinary nature of the past year and a half for you, the COVID altered environment that you have so courageously and with tenacity that you've persevered, the college is going to send you a complimentary copy of that second picture, the one standing in front of the president's office, Old Main in the backdrop, mask off. We will mail you a copy of that picture in the summer as well. So you'll eventually in the summer get your actual diploma and a picture to commemorate your commencement exercise. Okay. So just to let you know that. In terms of proper attire, so just continuing with section 5 of the letter that we sent you today, the appropriate attire, you must be in official regalia, academic regalia to participate in commencement exercises. You should have received information from the campus store about purchasing a robe, cap and gown. So if you haven't already ordered your robe and your tam, please do that as quickly as possible. I think we're getting pretty close to the deadline. If you need to have that shipped to your home, we're getting pretty close to that. But you can always stop by the campus store, pick up your robe. They have those in stock, so you can get those at any time. And information about that is in the letter that we sent to you. It's also on the commencement website, and you can always pop into the campus store and talk to Lisa Borowitz or any of the campus store folks. They will be more than happy to help you. So please, please, please make sure that you have your cap and gown. That's the only attire that you can wear to commencement. And then please make sure that you address appropriately underneath. We request business casual underneath so that everything looks great. If you need some professional attire for that day, I encourage you to go and talk to Bethany. The Professional Development Center has a career closet, and they will be happy to find clothing for you if you need that resource. So please reach out to the Professional Development Center, which is on the second floor of McKelvey. And don't know where that is, just ask someone and we'll make sure you get there. Students often ask about other kinds of academic or attire. Please note that this is a formal academic event, and so the only appropriate attire or decorations are those that are associated with academics. So some of you belong to honor societies or other organizations like Pi Sigma Pi, where you would have honor cords. And so those are appropriate. There are some student organizations, honors organizations that have cords or other kinds of banners. The honor students, if you're an all-college honor student, you'll have a medallion. For those of you who are receiving Latin honors, you'll have a small pen. Those things are perfectly acceptable to wear, but nothing beyond those kinds of academic symbols. And that's described in section 5 of your handout that Bethany sent you today. Okay. In terms of Latin honors, please remember this is the policy in your undergraduate handbook. If you are receiving Latin honors, that is based on your grades up to the fall semester, so through fall of 2020. That's what we will recognize in the official program, and that's what I will announce when I call your name, because I say your name, and if you graduate with Latin honors, I call out the Latin honors that are based on your record through fall 2020. If your spring grades change that designation, then it will be updated. So let's say that your grades push you up to the next level of Latin honors. Then that will be noted on your diploma, but it won't be noted in commencement. So I'm only going to announce what we know at fall, because your spring grades aren't going to be submitted for commencement. They're submitted after commencement. So in the end, everything will be calculated, but only up through fall is announced. So just wanted to clarify that. But your diploma will be correct once all grades are submitted. Very, very importantly, some of you have names that are not unusual to you, but they may be unusual in pronunciation to me. And my worst nightmare is that I'm going to mispronounce your name, and your mama or your Leica mama is going to come knocking on my door and ask me why I can't pronounce your name correctly. So if you have that name, if you pronounce it differently than it looks, or if it's not pronounced the way it's spelled, or if the emphasis is on one syllable and not the other, but that's not the usual way people may pronounce it, please, 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 please let me know that, because I do not want to mess up your name. on the day of commencement. I don't want to embarrass you or frustrate your family or embarrass myself. So please help me make sure that I pronounce your name correctly. I have given you in that letter that Bethany sent to you, I've given you my office number, so my extension, as well as if you're calling from an off-campus phone, my office extension. Please call me and leave me a voicemail and clearly pronounce your name, how you wish for it to be read at commencement. If you want to send me an email with the phonetic spelling or phonetic pronunciation rather of your name, you can send me an email. You can just use the email address that Bethany has been sending to you from all week or all month really. Or I'm in Old Main 109. And so I'm in that corner office between the tower room and Thompson Clark Hall. So if I'm sitting in my office as you're walking by and picking up an Adirondack chair, hanging out on the quad, knock on the window. And if I'm not in a meeting, I'll come to the window and you can tell me how to pronounce your name. If you see me on the sidewalk, hey, Dr. McMahon, here's how you pronounce my name, that's fine. But please, 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 please let me know how to pronounce your name because I do not want to mispronounce your name. That's just embarrassing for me and just not a good day for you or for your family. So help me help you, and that will be greatly appreciated. All right, and then probably the biggest question everyone has about commencement is tickets, and that's going to be especially true this year as we hopefully this is the last year we have to worry about an altered commencement because of COVID. So if we are outside, every graduate will receive a ticket for him, herself, or themselves, as well as tickets for 4 guests. And guest includes any physical body, right? And so the Commonwealth does not make exceptions based on age. So I'm saying Ashlyn and a cute baby, even if Ashlyn's cute baby, if that's sibling or child, either way, if that baby's sitting on another person's lap, that baby still counts. So that baby needs to have a ticket, even if under normal circumstances, we wouldn't require that. So I apologize for that, but we've got to respect and comply with the Commonwealth mandates at the time. And so again, I appreciate your cooperation with that. What will happen is that you will be, again, seated in individual rows with the graduates up front on the lawn, and then guests will be seated behind and on the sides and the wings of the quad. Our plan is to put your pod of 4 guests together, and so they will be seated together, and we're assuming that because they're podded, it's like a family pod that we used last fall, they will be seated in relative close proximity to each other, not spaced 6 feet apart. Graduates will be spaced 6 feet apart, again, complying with CDC guidelines. And then your pod of guests will be separated by 6 feet from the next or closest pod of guests. So your pod will be seated closely together, but far enough away from other pods that we will be able to protect you from COVID transmission. That's the goal. All guests need to be mindful of physical distancing guidelines, and all guests must wear their facial covering at all times. And I encourage you, please, if you're not feeling well that day, if your guests are feeling any symptoms of COVID, please, please, please stay home and watch the live stream. It's just safer for you, safer for everyone else. We don't want commencement to be a super spreader event. That would be disastrous for all of us. So 4 tickets if we are outside, and 2 tickets if we have to move indoors because of inclement weather. My goal is to keep it outside if we can, because that way you get to have more guests watch you graduate in person. So if there is a light mist that day, please bring an umbrella, and we will move quickly, but a light mist is not going to hurt us, hopefully. If it's thundering and lightning, that's a different story. We will be forced to move inside. If it's chilly that day, or if it's hot that day, wear the appropriate clothing, but it's going to have to be extreme temperatures to move us inside. But my goal is to make that call by Thursday at the end of day, so Thursday around 4:30. And then assuming nothing changes dramatically on Saturday morning, we will either be indoors or outdoors based on the call that I make on Thursday afternoon. So again, we will be live streaming that event. So if you have guests who are in faraway places or just unable to travel or don't wish to travel because of COVID, that live stream will be available, and we will live stream both ceremonies. And even if you are unable to participate, so you will be in absentia, we will still read your name. So we want everyone to be recognized, even in this COVID-altered environment. Okay. So those are the big, broad brushstrokes. And what I would ask you to do, if you have questions, Bethany is monitoring the chat. So rather than having just a free-for-all of audible questions, please just type your questions into the chat. That way we can keep them organized and Bethany can make sure that I answer all of your questions. So Bethany, I think I answered the 3 that came in earlier, if I recall. Okay, so if you have questions, please feel free to put those in the chat and Bethany and I will answer them. So let's see here. So one question. We have a question about attire. Can students wear stoles from fraternities or sororities? Oh, it's all the decoration questions. All right, so let's see if we can answer these. All right, you guys are thinking alike. Okay, I'm starting to lose the thread here. Yes, in the past we have allowed fraternity and sorority members to wear their stoles. I think I had a question the other day about some other kinds of stoles, and you can contact me individually if you have a specific question about that. But yes, we have allowed the fraternities, sororities to wear their stoles. Where do we go about acquiring our honors cords? So Bethany is going to have those available. And if you are a recipient of one of those honors cords, she will let you know how to get that. For those of you who are receiving Latin honors, the registrar will have that information available to you and we will get it out as quickly as possible. The person who handles Latin honor pens is on vacation this week. So as soon as I have that information or Bethany has that information, we will get it to you. So honors cords, you can talk to Bethany. Honors medallions, you can talk to Dr. Collada. Latin honors, we will get that information to you soon, but that's going to come from the registrar's office. Are we allowed to decorate our caps? Okay, so I'm going to read to you the official Westminster policy. We go back to section 5. Out of respect for all students, their families, and the academic nature of commencement, you are reminded to avoid customizing your robe and order board beyond official academic regalia. So that's the official policy. That's the policy we have read every year to students. That is the policy that we tell graduating seniors every year and graduate students every year. Yeah, I would say that as long as it's not offensive and you can ask me about what would be offensive, but as long as it's not offensive or inappropriate, I think I'm not going to come through and take your tam away. But please keep it tasteful because other families are celebrating, other graduates are celebrating. So please keep it respectful and please don't make it 10 feet high, right? Because there are people sitting behind you. Okay. All right. Let me go back to my chat. Yes, you heard correctly. Latin honors are from fall semester 2020. Are virtual students allowed to come? Yes, so virtual students are allowed to participate. So that is number 1 of your sheet that you received today. So graduates who are approved to learn, sorry, this was provisional. All provisional graduates were permitted to participate in commencement, and graduates who are approved to learn remotely during the spring semester are also permitted to participate. So virtual students are allowed to participate and provisional students are allowed to participate. Okay. And again, anything related to the honors cords, Bethany will make sure that you have that information quickly about how to pick them up. Is it possible to have our honors revoked based on our grades at the end of the semester? Travis, can you just put in the chat, do you mean Latin honors or your all college honors? The question about, is there a way to ask students if they do not need all of their tickets to offer other tickets to other people? You can do that if you wish with your mates or with your classmates. We don't handle that as part of academic affairs. The only thing is if that happens, it's going to mess up a pod. So we'll have to monitor through that. But academic affairs does not handle whether students share tickets or not. Right. Yes, and that is correct. If we are inside for commencement, you will only be allowed to have 2 guests in or auditorium because again, it's 50% capacity for outside, it's 25% capacity for inside. So we have to cut the guests in half. Okay. Elaine said, well, let's see, Morgan, I emailed Atlantic Sigma Advisor yesterday, and I think we're working on it. So that's the answer there. So yes, 4 for outside, 2 for inside, and college, all college. So Travis, that would be a great question to ask Dr. Collada. I don't want to give you the wrong information. So if you just reach out to her, she can certainly give you that information. So Allison asked if we arrive the day of commencement, we just take our seats. And the answer is yes. So because we're not going to meet in Aura Auditorium like we normally would and then process out, because again, I need to keep you guys 6 feet apart as we are trying to keep people protected from transmission, COVID. And I know that you all are going to be super excited. You're going to want to hug, cry, and take selfies and celebrate and all those things. And there goes 6 feet of distance. So I just want you to get to your seat. We're not going to do the normal processional, but we will do a recessional. So when commencement, your exercise, your ceremony is over, I will lead you out of the South Lawn onto to the pathway going down toward Thompson Clark so that you do have a recessional. But there won't be a processional. So when you get to the campus, yes, just find the seat that you've been assigned to. And that's the seat and the order in which your name will be called for graduation. Let's see if I've missed any questions. All good questions. Yes, it's going to be different from what you've experienced at other graduations. And so I, again, appreciate your patience with that. I'm just happy that we're going to be able to celebrate together in person and not do this virtually. So a lot of institutions are doing virtual graduation, which just doesn't sound fun or a great way to celebrate your fantastic accomplishments. Okay. Other questions in the chat, Bethany? Let's see. Oh, where do we park? Oh, hi, Nick. How are you? Nick, so the primary parking, I believe I put that in the other email, and that's going to be on the website. It's not in the letter that we sent you today, but if you check the commencement website, the closest parking lot, of course, is going to be the admissions parking lot if we're outdoors. There will be handicap accessible parking in the old main lot. So we will reserve that for folks who have mobility issues. And then also the the physical plant lot that would also be close to the south lawn of Old Main. If we're indoors, if we're in Aura Auditorium, then you would park at Shaw. So the Aura Patterson Shaw parking lot. Those would be the closest. And again, we will have handicap parking reserved for anyone who has mobility issues. And I will also note that my understanding is we are going to have athletic events, championships going on that day, quite possibly if our teams are doing well. And so the lower campus will be busy with athletic events. So that's going to be a little bit tighter parking. So I will just stay as close to upper campus as you can. Okay, so Madison asked, are there going to be rooms on campus where we will stream for guests that don't have tickets? That's a great question, Madison, and yes. So we are going to live stream in several classrooms with a ceremony in case we have to be inside and we don't have room for all guests, or if we're outside and don't have room for guests. So I believe that we are talking about the Witherspoon rooms and Mueller and some of the other larger spaces on campus. So yes, there will be live streaming, but of course, you can also bring a device and live stream it if you don't want to sit in a classroom. That's fine. When is move out for seniors? Let me check on that, Elena, and then I will get back to you, and we'll get back to everyone with that information in our next email update. But good question. Emily, are we supposed to leave right away, or are we allowed to take pictures with family and friends? Oh, Thank you, Bethany. So move out for seniors is May 8th. Okay, so the day of graduation. So Emily, your question, are we supposed to leave right away, or are we allowed to take pictures with family and friends? So it's going to be a little more complicated if you're in that first ceremony, because we do need to move one group out so that we can get the other group in. There'll be a little bit of time though. There'll be about 30 minutes in between the ceremonies before the next group is allowed to come in and seat. So I would encourage you to use that time to take pictures. Certainly, we will have Senior Terrace set up. So if you want to come the week, while you're during finals week and, do some pictures on Senior Terrace, I encourage you to do that as well. So you can certainly have that time, but it's not going to be the case where you have hours and hours and hours to spend just hanging out on campus. I'm sure there are other things you want to do post-graduation. So who do we contact? What is the protocol if we end up feeling sick that day? Great question, Sydney. So I would send Bethany an email. You have her email address. It's LockieBJ, LockieBJ. I would just send her an email and let her know. I will, before each ceremony, I'm going to go through the rows of students just to verify who is present, so I know who to call as in absentia, and I know who is going to be crossing Senior Terrace. So if you aren't there, Bethany will have that information. She can let me know, and I know not to expect you. But again, if you're unable to participate that day, I will still read your name because I think that is important for you to hear your name and that you have graduated. Good questions from everyone. Will those guests for the virtual live stream need tickets? So if your guests are planning to come to campus and sit in Witherspoon, for example, they would not need a ticket for that. They only need a ticket if they're going to seat on the quad, the South Lawn, or auditorium. I believe the Pi Sigma Pi question, yes, Bethany will have the answer, or we'll send you information on Pi Sigma Pi cords or other cords that she will be passing out to seniors. Yep. You do not need to stay. So if you're in ceremony 1, you do not need to stay for ceremony 2. In fact, you can't because of occupancy limits. So you do need to stay for the entire ceremony in which you are participating. So if you're in ceremony 1, you need to stay for the entire ceremony 1, but you're not expected to stay for ceremony 2. And we request that you don't, because that increases the occupancy and our risk of running over. But yes, we want you to stay because otherwise it would be rude to other graduates and families. Other questions? All good questions. You guys have got this Zoom thing down. You must be taking a Zoom class or two. Got this virtual learning good. All right, so I don't see any other questions coming in. But again, if you do have questions later on, feel free to email Bethany or myself. You have our contact information. Bethany's in the PDC, second floor in McKelvey. I am in 109 Old Main. You can find us online. Please send us an email or stop by and visit, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. Again, we'll make a recording of this video, for this session rather. We'll make it available to you later on. We'll send you information on how to access it. And then we will follow up for those of you who are receiving honor cords. We'll make sure you know how that process is for getting that, getting those decorations for your regalia. All right, I'm so excited for you. I can't wait to see you in person and to call your name and watch you cross Senior Terrace as you get your diploma cover. So everything's going to be great. 1 month from today. I can't believe it, but it's time. It's here. It's great. So go enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks, everyone.